I just bought this Kubota. It's a B6100 and I paid 600 bucks for it. This has a 3-cylinder Kubota diesel, and of course it's not running. The guy I bought this from purchased it from an estate auction. It was not running at the auction. He took it home and messed with it a little bit and never got it running. I was actually driving back from Florida. I saw this on Marketplace and I messaged the guy and pretty much told him I would take it as long as the engine rolled over. So together we're gonna learn what kind of financial mistake I just made. Right away, I'm seeing cracks in the exhaust, which could lead to water inside the engine, which could mean that the engine's locked up. That's gone forever. Absolutely no coolant in there. There may be a really good reason for that,
which is probably the missing hose.
This is also off, which isn't great because moisture could have gotten in there.
There is something in there.
You know, oh yeah, look at that. Gross.
Not really great signs I'm seeing there. Ooh, the oil's over full. We don't want to see is water coming out. Oh no! That's a good sign. Straight, black, nasty oil.
It's really important to tighten up your drain plugs. Ask me how I know. While that oil is disgusting, the fact that there's no water on the bottom and there is oil in it tells me two things. We don't have a head gasket leak or anywhere where the coolant was going into the engine, and it didn't run out of oil and seize up, most likely.
Let's see if we can rotate this engine, I guess.
Okay, that's a good sign. Pretty much made a 360-degree rotation. Now, the previous owner did tell me that it cranked over with the key at the auction before it sold, but when he got it home and he put a jump pack on the battery, he couldn't get it to do anything at all. He said he wasn't getting 12 volts to the starter. Now, sometimes that might be a safety device on these, like a seat switch. I don't see a tremendous amount of wires going to this thing. I don't see a seat switch, but you can see through the seat. This tractor has a 3-point hitch and a PTO. What we got for, oh wow, nice clean oil on the transmission stick. I think that's oil, and I think that's the transmission. That could be water, no idea. Okay, got throttle, front brakes. Oh yeah. These rock back and forth. This is a hydrostatic transmission, so this goes backwards, forwards.
Something leaking. It's in Japanese, so
this will surprise a bunch of you, but I'm not fluent in Japanese yet. A lot of times the rust will not allow a connection to go through there.
battery box, got some kind of mouse house in there.
That backwards vacuum works great for cleaning stuff up in a jiffy. Always get these nice and shiny, just eliminates any questions. See how rusty that is? That'll never make a connection, and a bunch of them are breaking off. Good rule of thumb is if the connection's not soldered, it is not going to work. Tap test. You have any lights of any kind? No. Let's try cranking it. No signs of life. Okay. For grins and giggles, let's just put the clutch in. Nothing. Just do a quick test here and see if we're getting voltage at the starter. We're getting 10 volts there. I'm just gonna pull this starter off real quick and I'll bench test it.
I'm always just so focused on safety.
Yeah, look at that. Oops.
the mess behind here, man. Gross.
With my test station set up, let's whack this and see what happens. Yep. That's a healthy starter, boys. If you guys don't have one of these I don't have any friends buttons and you do this kind of stuff, must have. Just so I can verify that that engine cranks over. Both of those tires are leaking. Just curious if they'd hold air. Curiosity resolved. Now that we have sufficient cranking, let's see what we're looking like for fuel. Let's see what's in here. Oh my goodness. I don't know if you can see the ice on there. There was water in that. You can almost always find your hardware if you put it back where it came out of.
Lock kit, pull, toolkit, pull out. Oh, look at that, toolkit. That's not there. What do we got here? Something.
That's ice in the line. There's definitely water in the tank. I mean, that's not terrible diesel. Hold on a second. We're not wasting this. That's the ice in there. Tank's all empty. There's nothing in there. I'm gonna put a new line on it.
Pulled all that crap out of there. There's a wrench in there.
I just took this little petcock thing out of here. Much to my dismay, it actually broke the little bit that makes it go on and off. There went a piece flying. This is one of the little cast pieces that would have fit into that slot. Don't have any fluid coming out. No fluid coming out. Okay. As I'm putting wires back on here, I looked over and I noticed this. So that clutch will likely need to be depressed to start this. And if this switch is bad, it won't let 12 volts down to the starter. Still just trying to see if we can get a crank here. I have this battery with jumper cables hooked up to the battery cables themselves. Starter's hooked back up, and with the knowledge of that switch, we got a light now. No cranky though. Just running this switch by hand. Yep, there it is. Alright, so that switch has to be depressed. More importantly, switches like this make me depressed. What's happening is this is just out of adjustment. It's nice that it's so easily accessible. Another quick fix for that is just join the wires together. That's probably a grounding switch, so if you connect the circuit, it'll work. Perfect. Oh gosh. Nice to have everything hooked up with a key. This is the original fuel filter, and I got all the ice out of it. Water out of it too. That's diesel fuel. I'm just gonna reuse this. Yes, sir. We're pushing air. Okay. And we got red fuel. Perfect. Oh, come on. I vice gripped that clutch down so it'll engage the switch. So we're already dripping fuel there. Just gonna crank this real quick. Oh yeah. Nice fuel flow. I like that. Also gonna crack all these injectors. Just got a new line. Put that back on there. Tighten these all down. This does have glow plugs and they're right here. I have no way to know if they're working. Check out my Amish glow plugs. We're cranking fast enough. I just pulled the air filter off because I'm going to replace it. Look at the mud inside that. This is what came out of it. I guess it's a good thing I checked that. I returned from the wallet draining store, a drained but conquering hero. $288 for all this. There, I get a light. Those glow plugs may be working, and with the new battery, just gonna hit them for like 30 seconds. Cracking the injectors again. Sometimes you gotta bleed them more than once. Why are we not getting any attempt to fire here? Just a couple of things I noticed is I feel like we're puffing back out of here, which is, that's not good. That shouldn't be, should only be intaking here. When I stop cranking, I hear like a hiss, like something's building up pressure and then releasing it. Draining this battery already, so that's great. Brand new battery's about dead. See anything. I just want to see the cylinders and make sure they're not like screwed up. there. It wants to go. All right, let's try this again. Some more heat, and some more heat, and some more heat. It's got the right flavor of smoke. How about you fire up, and then we'll call it even. I'll cut you up for scrap if you don't start. I don't know, man, it is right on the edge. I guess I'm just gonna let it charge. That is all very warm. I can't touch that. I mean, there's heat in the block. You know, it could be happening is if those rings got stuck, I don't know, in maybe. It might be low on compression. Oh, come on! It wants to live. This is the new air filter, and I have a theory. You can give an engine too much air, and with an open intake over there, it may just be getting too much air, but with the air filter in place, it will reduce the airflow. Doesn't want to go over the edge, and starting fluid seems to make it worse. I think that's going to be all for tonight. Let everything cool down, start again tomorrow. Very early the next morning, gonna give this another try. Freshly charged battery. I have a sinking suspicion that what's happening is there's just low compression and it's just not firing. She just does not want to go. I can't heat the engine any more than that. I think the last thing I could do is I could pull the injectors and do a compression test. Just pulling this off of here, and if you can see all the rust, that's never a good sign. Is that enough? I feel like maybe it should be more than that. You can see that's clear, but that's cloudy, and that's like medium cloudy. Like maybe the injectors are rusted up and they're not atomizing correctly. There's rust on that one. I don't like that. You see, there's stuff shooting out of these two, but there's not anything shooting out of this. Which, you know, we could have low compression there. So my compression test kit doesn't have anything to go big enough, but it does have these ridiculous things. So you just kind of hold that in there, push down, and it should show a reading. High 90s on that one. Jeepers. We're pegging way out on that one. This one's coming up to 150. Let me Google what the specs are for this. So I believe this is a Kubota D650, and I just Googled what the compression specs are for this engine. This is what it says. The D650 with a typical compression pressure specification being standard range of 412 to 469 and an allowable minimum limit of around 327 with less than 10% variation between cylinders for good health. This cylinder is probably okay. This one is less than half what it should be, and this is a third, less than a third of what it should be. So unfortunately or fortunately, that's what the holdup is. What I think I'm gonna do is just pull the head off and inspect the cylinder walls. If the sleeves are in good condition, I'm probably just gonna pull the trigger on a overhaul kit. We'll slap new pistons and rings in there. No. If there's a valve that's sticking open, you would not have compression. Just ran that compression test again, and unfortunately, it did not bring that up any. Up and away. Okay. You know, I don't see anything horrible. I think that the right thing to do here might be to pull these valves out of the head and lap them all. Pushing them out the bottom, so I'm just gonna give her a little. And now you get to watch these fly across the shop, never ever to be seen ever again. If you can see back in there, you see all that big stuff? That should never ever ever be there. And that will absolutely keep valves open. Okay, to lap valves, you're going to want to run over to your neighbor's house, steal some of their wet play sand, or the Permatex valve grinding compound will also work. You would then want to find a small toilet plunger, and if you don't have one of those, just get yourself a drill, something to protect the end of the valves, and get you lapping. I'm an old engine builder from way back. I used to build big block NASCAR motors. There's a million videos on this on the internet, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time just lapping compound all over it. Don't get lapping compound in the valve guide because it will screw this up. A lot of people putting oil on this. This actually has like a screwdriver slot, so I used this screwdriver and that made a huge difference. So you can see how clean that is compared to this one or this one. You can actually hear the sound of it change when it's got a nice mating surface. One. Two down, 4 to go. Okay. Hopefully not everything broke when I put the forks under there. Perfect. This is in the way. You always want to put the nut back on before you hammer on that stud. This guy here is the oil pickup. You can see the dipstick, that's the crank. I want to get the pistons out. So to do that, I have to loosen the connecting rod bolts and then the pistons will come out the top. I'm putting the rod caps back on the pistons that they came off of. This is cylinder 1, 2, and 3. Now, cylinder 2 is the one we had all kinds of compression on. And if you look here, you can see there's a gap in the ring. That's supposed to be, that keeps the ring pushing out against the cylinder walls. That's how that's supposed to be. If we then take a look at cylinder 1, that ring is stuck inside the groove. Now there could be a little bit of scoring on this upper part of the piston, but that right there will cause low compression. And I noticed that it's just like packed with, and it's not metal flake, it's just sludge. So briefly inspecting the cylinder liners over here, you can see down 2/3 of the way down, there's kind of a rust ring. But what looks like scratches in the camera is just oil. That's not scratches. The insides of them are smooth. I thought this was a wet sleeve engine, but I don't see how it could be. Our only hope of kind of saving this without massive machine work is if we can hone those cylinders. Here is that piston. I'm gonna try to do this in a way. See how that was stuck? And now it's not. And there's that gap. But there's just a lot of carbon buildup in there. And sun is shining, the tank is clean. Okay. Spring compressor, cylinder hone, and this is the kit that I bought. Okay, this is a cylinder hone. You want to spin the hone at approximately the same speed as you go up and down to create a cross-hatching pattern. If you just spun it and kept it in the same spot, your abrasive pattern would be like this, and that would be like running a file across the piston rings. I've never done this before. the surface of the cylinder is not completely uniform, so I got to do a lot more honing than that, I'm afraid. That's looking a lot better. So down is 1, up is 1. I counted to 75. I want to dump some diesel fuel down there and rotate the engine, which will cycle the oil pump system and flush as much of this stuff out as I can.
Well, there's a line right down there, all the way over there. So that block is cracked.
Is that going to hinder me from putting the rear lid kit I already have in it? Absolutely not.
Okay, nice.
Just tightened the rod cap. Smooth action, no binding. Okay, I like that. That's probably the end of this rebuild for now. I just broke that oil ring. Stupid. Unbelievable. I did get that back piston in off camera. And now I have to order another set of rings. I broke every oil ring I had. I tried salvaging this. That one's broken. That one's broken. That one's broken. And I broke the new one. Weeks later, after I definitely didn't reuse any old parts or chip off a part of the second ring and file it down with a mill bastard file and install it back into the engine, I definitely didn't do any of that and most certainly ordered new parts. Yep. Everything seems really good. There's no binding, there's no scraping or grinding. Nothing's cracked, bent, or broken. Okay, you can just ignore the broken rings and the mess. And over here in our kit of gas, let me clean things up a little bit here. Always cut towards your own hand with a razor blade. Dude, if this does not come with a head gasket, somebody's gonna be fired. No, look at that. It comes with a head gasket. You're probably supposed to line up. Effektenschlag! It's pretty important to torque your head bolts and not just use like a Milwaukee impact to tighten them down as tight as they'll go. Even though I know that's tempting sometimes. I'm gonna rotate everything and make sure we don't have any weird binding. No. I put the oil pan on and forgot to torque the rod caps, so good enough. I'm just kidding. I torqued them, I think. I'm gonna go check around for spare parts that may have been forgotten to put in the engine. And then honestly, I'm ready to start the thing. I don't see any spare parts. Let's fire it up. Now I gotta push this thing. It may have an oil sensor that's not very happy right now. I added oil. Has no choice.
I don't like that the grenade launcher's pointed at me.
Why have the negative hooked to the negative and the positive hooked to the positive? There's some safety mechanism that's decided to override my desire. I have a solution for that too. Put that button right there.
Move the choke packs in there.
Before I do something I'm gonna regret, I'm calling it a day for this thing. I'm gonna go plow snow, come back to this tomorrow. This is the signal wire that goes down to the starter, so when you hit the key, that would engage the starter. I ran a new yellow wire. We don't have any safety switches in the middle of it. So with that on there, when I engage the key, it should start. I really don't have any idea if the glow plugs are working. I suppose I could test them. All right, so they're working. What? Why is this on fire now? You see the corrosion? And I have seen where they just won't start. Same thing on this. I hate these terminals. They should not be used ever. Let me clean this up. Clean and tighten that all up. Joke, dude. This is literally a brand new battery. Brand new, 1225. And I bought it a couple of weeks ago. What the world? I don't know. There was a tight spot there, which is not good, but let's give it some more heat and see. Let's try some more heat. See. Why did it stop smoking like that? It's like all of a sudden it stopped getting fuel. What's up with that? Ah. Ah! Yeebers! Definitely do. Got fuel there. Here goes nothing. Okay, I just took all the injector lines off, so let's see what happens when I hit the key now. I think at this point we have some kind of injector problem. Here's something interesting. See how this injector is clean and clear? And this one has some cloudy fluid in it. And this one also has some cloudy fluid in it. Watch when I crank this. See? There's pressure coming back out. That's either good or bad. This one's wet and none of these are. That one's also dry. Here's my philosophy. It already doesn't work, so let's take it apart and try to learn about it. The countryside. Down inside of there, I don't think there should be that much gunk. I mean, look how much rust is on there. There's no way these things were working. Now this is the one that was working, or I believe it was working. Little plunger. This little guy. This was another one of them. If you can see. You see the gunk on there? The very tip of that is where the fuel comes out and then atomizes. You can't have a tiny particle of sand stopping these. And we got, you know, small rocks and stuff in there. There's obviously water infiltration in the fuel system that sat in the injection pump. I don't think the injection pump is bad because I'm getting clean fuel out of the top like I would expect. So this is what my cleaning solution, this is just old kind of crappy diesel fuel, looks like before. It wasn't clean when I started, but you could see to the bottom, and now it's murky black water. And then this is the second bath, and it's gotten a ton of dirt in it too. Everything's back over here for reassembly. I'll put these back together and we'll stick them back in the machine. Fuel line's all back on. I have the tops connected, but they're loose so they can bleed fuel, hopefully. No one will be surprised if this doesn't work. I have fuel on all of them up here. Here goes nothing. Okay, that may have been totally unnecessary, but I have been fighting that tractor for a couple of weeks now, and that's... Yes! One more time. But Smokin' Joe, she runs. Good news, everyone! did check the oil pressure with the gauge. We got oil pressure. See if we can get it fired back up and it will drive around. Once in a while is that thing missing, but it does clear up. Alright, that's about all we can do because I don't have any coolant. I'm already steaming and I don't want to cook a roughly new engine. Well, what a freaking roller coaster of emotions on this one. After I did the compression test, I almost gave up on it then. When I had the trouble rebuilding the engine, I almost gave up on it again. And then after I rebuilt the engine and it wouldn't start, I almost gave up on it a third time. So what's the moral of the story? You guessed it. If it's cheap on Marketplace, there's probably a reason. And to be honest, the future for this thing is it's going to be for sale. Of course, I will disclose everything that I know about this tractor to whoever decides to buy it. There's a cracked block. I rebuilt it. Need I say more? The transmission seems to work fine. So I'm pretty much selling this for a few good usable parts. Hopefully somebody can get some parts off of this thing and it'll be put to use somewhere else. You already gotta heat it, man. Hydraulics work. That's not up here. Oh, back is down. That makes sense. So there's no power down. It's just whatever piece of machinery the weight, and then it does pick up. She's cherry and she runs. For $8,750, this old heifer could be yours. As always, guys, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you, and I'll catch you on the flippity flop.